This week on MS Refresh, Microsoft bribes enterprise users to use Bing, Teams webinars finally starts to roll out, and the SharePoint app bar gets delayed. All that and more. Subscribe to stay in the know. This is the MS Refresh Show. Hi there, and welcome to the Matt and Sean 365 Refresh Show. This is episode 18 for the work week of April 12th, 2021. Coming to you from the East Coast of the U.S., my name is Matt Wade.
And from the West Coast, I'm Sean Bugler. Matt, how are you?
I'm doing great. The weather is amazing. It has been for the last couple weeks.
This is not fake spring again?
I mean, I don't think so. But now I'm stuck inside talking to you, and I should be out there doing something.
Oh, stuck. Story of my life. People stuck with me. I am a joy to have around. Thank you very much.
In small doses, so I've heard, yes. What's new in your life?
I think I told you, my storage unit got broken into.
Yeah, that's crazy.
When we took the weekend off for Easter just to kind of catch our breath and, focus on family and things like that. And I went down Sunday morning to go drop some stuff off in the storage unit, and sure enough, somebody had not immediately everybody blames the victim, oh, how strong was the lock? It was the biggest possible lock that could have gone in there, and it was heavy duty steel and blah blah blah.
I saw a cam video of you just actually grabbing the lock and it was so big, is what I heard. Yeah.
And so it was they had plenty of time to do it, because they used a power tool to cut through it. I mean, I live in Oakland. This should not be a surprise, but it was disappointing nonetheless. And so I spent the last 3 or 4 days dealing with insurance and all that crap.
Yeah, just the logistics of that. Insurance is the worst.
It's just deeply inconvenient, Yes. And I've got USA.
If you don't have enough to
supposedly, do. Right. Supposedly they're good insurance. They're already giving me a little bit of grief on some of the stuff that I've put on there, but I'm a nut. I know exactly what was down there. So it'll all shake out, but we'll describe it as less than ideal this week.
Yeah. They always tell you should take photos of all the stuff that you own and keep a register of that. And I did that once in freshman year of college, and I've never done it since. I should probably do something like that. That would be smart. But,
yeah. For everybody that's listening, take my example as the one. Go do that. Go just... anything helps. Most of the stuff I buy online nowadays, so you've got those receipt records, which is super useful, but anything that you have that's of value that you picked up at a garage sale or eBay or whatever, just take a picture of it. Just go into your closet right now and just take a bad picture of your closet, because even that is going to be worth something.
Well, your life is much more exciting than mine is. Nothing really new has happened in my world other than just regular day-to-day work stuff. I had to cut some pages out of my book the other day. We finally got all the typeset stuff laid out, and we were over by about 50 or so pages. So I had to snip.
Wild that you find out at the end. You're like, oh, by the way, we're over by 50 pages.
Yeah. So the book is it's format heavy. So the Word doc that you write in, and it's there's got to be 30 different styles that they have on the template. And they don't apply page for page. You can't be sure how it's going to come out, and there's just so many screenshots. Somebody legitimately has to format and typeset all this stuff. So it's not until you see the PDF in the end that you know that that section is going to be 4 pages, that one's going to be 2, that one's going to be 1, and then you go through and okay, so in the end it's 460 pages or whatever, and the max is going to be 390 or something. So we lost a number of pages, and then also merged a few things together that probably could have been merged from the beginning, but I was trying to split stuff out so that everything would be very open up the table of contents. I want to discard a message that I'm working on. And that can be a note in the, create a new message in a chat, or create a new message in a conversation, in a channel kind of thing.
Right. So, or you lump editing and deleting into managing messages.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, so
that's
what I've been doing the last few days. But yeah.
Well, I'm super excited. I know we've been talking about this for what feels like
forever.
It's been a year. You and I have been talking about this. But I'm genuinely looking forward to seeing that on shelves before they rebrand Teams into something completely different.
You are an asshole. All right, I think that kind of brings us off to the next segment of our esteemed show. Sean, I would love to hear what's going on in the news today.
This is the news. Well, this is one way to encourage the workplace to adopt Microsoft Search. Coming in May, Microsoft is working on enabling users to connect their work or school Microsoft 365 accounts to their Microsoft Rewards account. If you're not familiar with the program, and we don't blame you, it is Bing after all, for a few years now, Microsoft has encouraged people to use Bing, and in return, you get points. Those points can be redeemed for things like Microsoft-branded swag, Xbox Live Gold, Skype minutes. Admins will have the ability to opt their organizations out of allowing those connections, but it's yet another weird space where Microsoft has blended work with personal. Heads up to those of you working from home in another country. Also coming in May, Azure Active Directory is picking up location-based access control using GPS. Reading from the roadmap, admins will be able to, quote, create conditional access policies to allow or deny access using a new type of named location known as GPS. For those policies, the user will need to share their GPS location from the mobile device on which Microsoft Authenticator is installed, end quote. Now, obviously, organizations will need to actively work to take advantage of this new conditional access policy, but it's a powerful tool nonetheless, and I don't think this is the last time we're going to hear about this. Rolling out this month, organization-wide backgrounds will be made available in preview. Now, when we say organization-wide backgrounds, what we're really talking about here are the selection of default Teams virtual backgrounds that are currently available. Currently, users can upload their own or choose from a selection of pre-provided options from Microsoft. This feature, which for some reason will require an advanced communications license when it becomes available generally later this year, would allow organizations to provide custom default options. Pair that with the already available option to disable user-uploaded custom backgrounds, and I can only imagine how exciting this could be for someone in corporate marketing. Microsoft Search is coming to GovCloud in September! Believe it or not, but our friends in GCC, GCC High, and DoD have been largely left out of the party when it comes to Microsoft Search. Now obviously, they've been able to use limited elements of it, but it's been largely lacking in comparison to commercial tenants. The roadmap calls out specific support for search in SharePoint. Believe it or not, in SharePoint, in government tenants, they don't currently have the sweet search bar. They're still stuck with the search boxes in the top right corner. Office.com and on Microsoft Search in Bing with support for acronyms, bookmarks, and Q&A. Teams webinars have begun rolling out on a somewhat random basis, with community folks claiming that they have it one day, then not the next, or even when they do get it, that it's not fully functional. While the roadmap still lists it as in development, keep an eye on that new meeting button in Teams because you might find a surprise. More on that as it develops, I'm sure, in the future. The share an email to Teams feature is finally here. After being delayed what feels like for a lifetime, it's been a while. This feature will let you send an email directly from Outlook to a Teams private chat or channel in a team. It's similar to, but not the same as, emailing a channel. Each has their pros and cons, and our very own Matt Wade has done an awesome job highlighting some of the key differentiators in a blog post posted late last year. We'll share that link in the show notes below. And finally, the SharePoint app bar rollout has been delayed. Sorry, gang. Some tenants have already picked up access. However, according to a post in the message center, no new tenants will receive access in the immediate future, while they make some adjustments based on feedback. The corresponding entry on the roadmap has also been updated to reflect May as the new projected release date. That was the news.
All right, thank you very much, sir. What was one thing that stood out for you this week?
It's always fun to come
I can
back.
only imagine.
Yeah, I mean, as if my the script I wrote for the lead didn't give it away.
This week on MS Refresh, Microsoft bribes enterprise users. I haven't read this yet. That was really good.
I always enjoy coming back from our breaks because even in a week, you know, there's so much that can happen. You know, we do these shows regularly enough where we can go 2 or 3 weeks without, you know, something big happening. But it always seems like when we do take a break, we come back, something interesting has happened. And this was no exception. Just hit the roadmap. Microsoft is rolling out search rewards for the enterprise and for education customers. Are you familiar with Microsoft search rewards?
I am not. Would you like to inform me of such? Is this what a Dogecoin is?
This is 100% it. This is Microsoft's very own cryptocurrency.
Because I heard I'm going to make lots of money on it.
I dumped $30 in like 4 years ago. Hopefully this. So, Microsoft Search Rewards, I think formerly known as Bing Rewards, is, I don't know if you know this, but Microsoft owns a search engine called Bing. It's Google, Ask Jeeves, Bing.
I know it as the, how do I switch this to Google when I use the Edge web box to search?
I would love to know how high up in the rankings that particular search query is. Just Google Chrome. So the idea behind search rewards is that Microsoft was trying to find ways of incentivizing the regular Joe and Jane schmoes like you and I to use Bing more often, because I think to some degree we all acknowledge that while Google is absolutely the best when it comes to search, Bing can be, we'll call it, good enough for most stuff. And so to help push them over the edge towards being the engine that people actually use, they introduced this idea that every time you run a search and you're signed into your Microsoft account, you get points. And this is very much, you know, whose line is it anyway? You know, where the search results are bad and the points don't matter.
That was amazing. That's the quote of the episode. That was great.
So every time you get a search, you get points, and those points go towards things like Microsoft Swag, or you know, you can ask Microsoft to make a donation to Girls Who Code. So there is some interesting, compelling stuff there, but none of it is like break down the door. I'm going to be using Bing for everything, and I'm going to be advocating to all of my friends, you should search that on Bing. So that's what it is. And
I could almost compare it, the Girls Who Code donation, it's almost kind of like Amazon Smile,
yes.
but I use Amazon anyway, so I can benefit from my behavior regardless. I just have to remind myself to go to smile.amazon.com, otherwise I miss out.
Right. That is an interesting way of putting it. It is the inverse of Amazon Smile. Amazon Smile, I'm already using it. I might as well use it towards something good.
Right, yeah,
versus
right,
Bing
exactly.
of, I wasn't using it, and I guess I will because there's something good.
I'm like, do I let those girls go without code, or do I subject myself
to Bing?
to Bing? It's a tough question.
It is a tough question, and I think it's a question that all of us in the enterprise and the education space are now going to have to ask ourselves, because Microsoft is opening up the door to linking your Azure AD account to your existing Microsoft rewards account. It feels like bribery. So I'm a little concerned about what that's going to mean, particularly for those of us in the government space. I mean, that's a gift.
Oh, I hadn't even thought about that. Okay, for everybody else, he was talking about this prior. I did not catch that that's why you were asking, because yes, the ethics policies in government and government contractors are such that you can only accept X number of dollars per event or thing or that kind of thing. And you're right, I hadn't thought about it. And not just that, but just signing in with your account to something else that may not be approved to be allowed to log into. Yeah, that's interesting.
They did flag that you can disable it as an admin, but I mean, so much of that stuff flies under the radar. Exactly right. It's opt out. Right. So that'll be interesting. But yeah, so that's me. What about you? What was something that caught your attention?
Well, I think, I realize I didn't actually look this up ahead of time, but I think that the feature that's most notable for having rolled out just recently, which is the share an email to Teams from Outlook, I believe that's 1.5 years, maybe 2 years late. I don't know exactly, but it's really delayed. I don't know if that's on the Outlook side of things, on the Teams side of things. It's a very cool feature. Have you used it yet? Have you seen it or like seen how it works?
No, but my timeline on Twitter did blow up over the last week of people finally getting access to it. I've always been in the camp of just drag and drop, which is admittedly inconsistent, but it's worked well enough. Mm-hmm. Has it shown up in yours? Well, you're in TAP, of course. It's shown up in yours.
Yeah, and well, I actually have a video on the differences between that and email a channel. So feel free to check that out up here someplace. And they're two very different things. And we've had email a channel for a long time. And when you do that, you basically just forward an email to an email address, and the email address is aligned with the channel. Now, it's an ugly as hell email address.
Worst.
Everybody always asks,
yeah.
can I make that a short? And it's like, yeah, you can go make it short or whatever. This one's cool because you can send the email to a private chat, not just a channel, which is super handy. But they actually have very. It would be nice if the two features would merge, where like you don't have to be using Outlook and you don't have to be internal to send the email to Teams, because email a channel can come from any email address as long as you don't turn off or turn on certain domains, right? So you could actually have it be like, hi, I would like you to. We're putting out an RFP, and all your proposals can be sent to this email address, and like automatically every submission that comes in is automatically dumped into that channel, which can be pretty handy.
I bet you with Teams Connect,
especially
you could
since
probably
all the
get close to
attachments.
that.
Yeah, maybe. Yep. But with all the files that are attached, automatically get uploaded into the Files tab in Teams. Same happens with email, a share to Teams, right? But if you are forwarding an email, you can edit the email before it gets sent. You can summarize the content so that everybody doesn't have to read the whole email. They can just kind of have whatever's important. You can choose which files to keep or not keep. Versus the share to Teams, it's either all or none on the files. You can't edit the email, which I realize that's an ethical issue, but like if you're just trying to do everybody a favor by summarizing a lengthy email into here's the stuff that matters, that can be very helpful. And then actually, I don't even remember which one is which, but one of them afterwards, you're actually able to edit the message that shows up in Teams itself. So you can change like the subject line, things like that, which is super handy. So just know that I know a lot of people are like super excited about the fact that there's now a button in Outlook, which makes it a lot easier, but that doesn't mean the other feature is useless, because one, the button in Outlook only exists for you internally and not for anybody externally who might want to be sending something from the outside. Like maybe you want to send something from your personal like Gmail account to Teams so that you have access to it internally. But very useful. And I thought I'd mention that since that got all the hype this week with Teams webinars, and it's got its use cases, but so does the other one. So don't just
throw it out the window.
Don't just sweep the other one under the rug. All right, and that brings us to the upcoming community events. Coming soon to the events world, AvePoint's Shift Happens Conference on April 20th, Microsoft 365 Virtual Marathon on April 26th, Collab Days Nordics on May 10th, the Teams Nation Conference May 12th, and M365 Philly May 14th. New things on the menu include M365 Chicago on June 4th, Collab Days New England on October 9th, and just know that the Teams Nation Conference got moved from May 26th to May 12th. I'm excited to be taking part in Teams Nation and the M365 Collaboration Conference in Florida in early June. It's going to be one of the first in-person, major conferences in a while, so if you're interested, definitely check that out. And as always, view the complete list of events at the link below or in the video description. And our community member of the week is a Microsoft 365 training guru and is an organizer of the SharePoint Saturday Charlotte event. Andy Huneycutt is a guy you want to know if you're looking for best practices, tips and tricks, admin guidance for running Teams, SharePoint, and the like. He covers the gamut from users to administrators, Outlook to OneNote. He's also just an awesome host and a really cool guy. I've hung out with him at a bunch of various conferences, but was more than impressed with the SPS Charlotte and can't wait to return at some point. Sean, I think you've also experienced Andy on an event or two.
Yeah, Andy was one of the first people that I met in the community. I met him within minutes of meeting John Levesque, as a matter of fact. And he's just such a quietly charismatic guy. Like, I mean, first of all, like, what a voice. I could listen to that man read the phone book.
Careful what you wish for.
I'll pay him to do it.
Fill in the blank holiday is coming. I'm going to make sure you get something.
But no, he comes from a similar background as I do. You know, he's a trainer at heart, and he's just such a fun personality to learn from. You know, he looks at the world in a similar way to you. You know, which is, how does the every person care about this? What are the little bits and pieces that, you know, those of us who have been so enmeshed in the technical gobbledygook that we've missed the forest for the trees. And I think he's just always had that clarity of mind. And so I'm always excited to see what he does. And, you know, the Charlotte user group is a great example of the work that he brings to the community.
Yep, definitely. He's also a new dad recently, so congrats on that. And we'll probably never see him again because he'll just be sucked into...
Not a chance. That kid's going to be hosting user sessions before the year is out.
The child will be the one, I don't know, he'll be the registration person, doing all that stuff. So, yeah. Excellent. But, Andy, thanks, buddy. Looking forward to seeing you sometime soon when things get back to normal. And thanks for everything. All right, well, I think that about does it. Thanks so much for watching. As always, a like and subscribe is much appreciated. Leave a comment below to start the discussion. That would be down here, Sean. And Sean, of course, thanks for joining me this week, and I can't wait to hang out with you and everybody else watching again next week. Take care.
Thanks, Ben.
Oh, all right. Okay. So, slow down. So, what changed here?
So organizational background. So the team's background, you can like do the virtual background, and I'm in a forest, or I'm in Better Homes and Gardens, episode 43 or whatever. For as long as they've had the feature, they've been working on rolling out this ability to upload images into the background, and they've been promising this idea that you could, as an organization, provide them for your entire staff. So, you know, like your marketing team or whatever could pull things together, your logo in the background, whatever.
Yep. Yeah.
So they did it. That's in preview, and it's starting to roll out in preview right now. But they're tying it to the advanced communications SKU, which is an
added
fee. Like it is infuriating all the ways they find to like nickel and dime. And it's such a horrific indicator of where Microsoft is looking towards like nickel and diming.
Now the real question is going to be though are the Bing points, are they going to be exchangeable for a corporate background?
I lied. I hope they're still listening. Microsoft, I should be able to apply my Microsoft Search rewards points to a Power Automate with RPA license.